Hey everyone, my name is Namoli Brennet, and I am happy to be here. And I better be happy because it's We Happy Trans. I probably also could be a guest on We Moody Trans. I don't think that website has been invented yet. Anyway, I am a touring singer-songwriter, and I also happen to be transgender. And I do believe that I accidentally answered the first question already, which is, what is your name? And my name is Namoli Brennet. That is not my given name. Believe it or not, my my Irish Catholic parents did not name me Namoli. But it's a name that I chose about 10 years ago, and it felt like it fit. What are the questions? Oh yeah, okay. Who has been most supportive of my transition? Well, early on in transition, I had a best friend named Tanya, and she was amazing. I was like, she literally did not bat an eyelash, and she just kind of held my hand through a lot of nerves and embarrassment and shame and just, difficult situations. And I really, really am grateful to have had her. I'm looking over here because I'm trying to remember what the questions are. I'm sorry. I'm doing all this off the cuff. Can't you tell? What do I most enjoy about life since transitioning? Well, there are a lot of things. For one, I feel like I am a lot more comfortable in my own skin. Before I transitioned, I distinctly remember being uncomfortable just in every aspect of my body, uncomfortable with walking and talking and how I held myself, because so much of it was a persona that was created to try and make an identity that I thought, would help me to fit in or be happy. So I enjoy being more comfortable in my own skin, and I think you learn about yourself when you transition. It's interesting to learn what does not change when you transition. Just things about your personality, like if you're funny or if you like certain types of movies or books, or it's interesting to see the things that are sort of constant. For me, obviously music is a constant, and I actually was afraid for some reason that if I transitioned that I would not be able to write songs because I might be too happy. Not a problem, by the way. I'm a Pisces, and still an incredibly moody person, pre and post transition. Lots of ups and downs. So I think in general, I just enjoy feeling a lot more authentic, like 200% more authentic, and just kind of more real, I guess, and more present. Those are things that I just couldn't get at before transitioning, just because there were just too many issues in the way. As far as trans role models, what just happened there? It's kind of a weird vocal thing. Trans role models. I didn't really have any for a little while, and I wasn't sure how you were supposed to do it, and I ended up finding a support group in Tucson, Arizona, where I was living, and had some kind of big sister types there that were helpful and encouraging. But I think what really kind of blew my mind and opened things up for me was number one, I saw the movie Hedwig and the Angry Inch, and number two, I read Gender Outlaw by Kate Bornstein, and both of those things really inspired me to be a little more courageous and also a little bit more adventurous with my identity. It's a weird thing when you transition. It's like, you have to think a lot about gender, and you're going from male to female or female to male. So obviously you're going to spend some time figuring out what those things mean and what you have to do to achieve that goal. Hopefully, part of the process might be realizing that there are a lot of different ways to express being male or female. And so that's what those two things, Hedwig and the Angry Inch and Kate Bornstein's books, just really opened my eyes to the fact that you didn't necessarily have to move from one box to another and give up all things male and become female or vice versa. And I think that helped me just as far as staying a whole person and not going into a whole different sort of editing. Like, what's the point if you live a good portion of your life hiding certain parts of your personality because you feel like they aren't appropriate for the gender that you're presenting. So to me, what's the point of transitioning one way or the other if you're just going to do that in reverse, basically. So yeah, okay. What changes would I most like to see in the world? Number one, I would like for everyone to have a pony. No, that's not actually true. What I would like to see would be for there to be more equality, and not just even as far as trans or LGBT issues, but financially and just in terms of opportunities. It feels like it's a tough old world out there. I know what you're thinking. Namoli, you got it easy. You're a singer-songwriter, You're making the big bucks. I'm sorry. Yeah, it would be nice. And so I don't know that I'm doing anything specific to make that happen, except that I am a visible trans person, and I try to talk about it as much as I can. And I also write music that I try to infuse with meaning. And hopefully it helps to, this is gonna sound really arrogant. Hopefully it helps to raise the consciousness of the planet. Good God. Yeah, but I do think that putting good, meaningful art out in the world is a way of helping to sustain higher consciousness. Whoa, Namoli, what are you? Some kind of a Latter-day Prophet or something? Yeah, that was a lousy answer to that question. I apologize for that. Something unique about me that you should know is that I'm a tournament Scrabble player, and I'm a real mean shark on the Scrabble board. What else? I don't know. I like movies. I like to read. I enjoy some crochet. I have some serious non-estrogen related mood swings, which have been present my entire life. And I like to laugh. Maybe one other important thing to say would be that I suffered from a pretty darn bad anxiety disorder for most of my 20s and 30s, and the idea of transitioning was literally impossible for me to imagine. And it's kind of a miracle that I was able to do it. For anyone who's ever suffered with that, it's kind of crippling in a lot of ways, especially if you are undertaking something like transitioning, which is very stressful in itself anyway. So it's something I still struggle with at the moment. I'm having one of my good days, maybe even a good year, and I have an amazing appreciation for that, frankly. Just to be feeling good and normal and appreciating life and to be happy to be alive is a good feeling, and maybe one that I couldn't have imagined would exist for me 10 or 12 or 15 years ago. So hopefully you enjoyed this interview, and thanks to We Happy Trans for inviting me to be a guest.
The end of the world if things could never mend. Would it be a start if you could still open your beating heart, just to be loved by one of us, just to be loved like one of them, just to be